So in 1865, the game of football as we know it today was officially created, and whilst a lot of aspects of the game have stayed the same, the equipment we use has progressed massively in the past 100 years. But I wanted to see just how much.
So it seems like I've done quite a few goalkeeper related videos recently, but I had this idea and I just couldn't turn it down, so here's the plan. I'm taking some of the most era-defining football boots and goalkeeper gloves over the last 100 years. I'm going to be testing them out to see if they've improved over time, and hopefully we're going to find out which is the best era for football products. This is the evolution of football.
So first up, I'm going to be taking a look at 100 years of football boots, and then I'll be testing out goalkeeper gloves throughout the years. I'm going to be putting them all through 5 tests and giving them a final score out of 100, showing us if football technology has truly progressed over the years. First up, let's take a look at the football boots we're going to be testing today.
So the first boot is the 1930s classic brown, big steel toe cap. These are going to be interesting to play with. Next up, we've got the 1970s classic leather boot. I'm excited to try these out, they could be quite good. Then we've got the boots from the 2000s. These really start to represent the more modern day boots, really low cut, really lightweight. Excited to try these. Then for the 2010s, we've got these T90 boots. These look pretty sick. And the final boot we're going to be comparing them to is this latest boot from 2020, New Balance. Looks pretty cool. Let's get into the first test. Alright, first up, 1930s. Oh my god, flipping it. Oh my day, this is unreal. I'm going to give these a score of 1 out of 20 for comfort. They're horrendous. Alright, 1970s. Oh, these actually feel really good. No, I'm going to give these a solid 17, I think. Next up, we've got the 2000s boots. Probably a 14 out of 20. Next up, 2010 T90s. Oh, these are nice. I'm going to give these an 18. Finally, we've got the 2020 boots. 2020 boots, I've got to give them probably 19 out of 20 for comfort. You know, there's always room for improvement, but yeah, these are by far the most comfortable.
So the results for comfort were pretty much as I expected. Next up, we're going to be taking a look at the weight and the speed.
So now it's the weight test. First off, the 1930s boots. They weigh 507 grams, and that is very, very heavy. Next up, we've got the 1970s, 367 grams, so quite a bit lighter. Then we've got the 2000s, 239 grams, so gone down massively. 2010, 342, so they've gone up like 100 grams. And then finally 2020, these already feel very light, 214 grams, so pretty much as expected. Now let's see what they're like for speed. For the years, speed is something that boot manufacturers would have looked a lot on to help improve, get quicker, get more agile. So we're going to set up.
3, 2, 1, go!
So the speed test was actually very interesting. The 2003 boot just edged it, but they're all pretty similar apart from the 500 gram 1930 boot, which came far, far behind. Next up, the dribbling test, and all I can say is I think even Messi would have struggled playing football back in the 1930s.
They literally do not indent at all, absolute steel toe caps, mate. Already the difference is insane.
All the other boots felt really good for dribbling, with the 2020 boot taking the #1 spot. They just gave a really nice barefoot feel when controlling the ball, so for that reason, these definitely perform best for dribbling and control.
So I'm only going to have 10 shots with each pair of boots and see how they perform. Oh, it's a banger. I'll try a toe poke with these steel toe caps. Oh. Tell you what, I'd happily play a game in these, they're really nice. With these bad boys on. Let's see if I can shoot like him too.
football boots, and it's clear from what I've been testing out this week that newer is definitely better. So after deciding on the best decade for football boots, I headed back down to the pitch to do the exact same thing for the Goalkeeper Gloves. The contenders are, for the 1930s, a pair of bare hands. For the 1960s, these black gloves with rubber strips. 1980s just had these very 80s gloves. 2010, the classic Nike finger saves. And 2020, these mega futuristic Adidas Predator goalie gloves.
Look at the packaging for these 80s gloves. This just screams 80s and 90s.
Man.
The keeper kit's on there, man.
First thing we're going to be testing them on is catching crosses.
Feels weird being in goal without any gloves on, just bare hands though. Oh! Oh, you got it. That wasn't as bad as you might think. Now, 1960s gloves. These offer no support whatsoever. Ah! Oh, there we go. Ah! Ah! 1980s. Let's see what these have got. Ah! See, that rubber on the inside makes a massive difference that the other two didn't have. Alright. 1980s was decent. Surely it only gets better from here. Stronger, a lot bulkier. I certainly feel a lot more confident in goal with these on, that's for sure. '20 gloves. Are they going to be the best for the catching crosses? They certainly feel really good. I feel decent. I just don't feel like I'm going to drop it in these.
Next up, another important aspect of Goalkeeper Gloves is the grip. So to measure this, I'll turn my hand, and the last moment the ball was in full contact with the palm, I paused the video there and measured the angle. The higher the angle, the better.
So another thing I'm going to rank these gloves on is comfort, because obviously that's very important when it comes to Goalkeeper Gloves. First off, 1930s, bare hands, comfort wise, not very good, especially when it's cold. That's a 2 out of 20 for me. Next up, the 1960s, comfort. They are pretty comfortable, so I'll give these probably a 15 out of 20 for comfort, very good. Next up, 1985, and for comfort, these aren't that great. They don't fit particularly tightly. There's nothing great really to say about them, so for comfort, I'll give these maybe a 10 out of 20. For 2010s, I'm going to give these a 17 out of 20 for comfort. All round, just feel really good on the hand, and you feel pretty strong behind a pair of these. Finally, we've got the 2020 pair of gloves. For me, it's a 20 out of comfort. They feel perfect, feel really nice to wear, and for sure the most comfortable pair I've tried on.
Now the second to last test is handling, and I'll be scoring this on how well I'm able to hold onto the ball and how solid the gloves felt when catching a hard shot.
Alright, now shot stopping. First off, we've got the bare hands. That's a stinger, that. Got these ones on now, that rubber grip. Hopefully will offer a bit more protection than the bare hands. Oh! 1980s gloves. Next up, we've got the 2010 gloves. Now for the final pair, 2021, the Predator gloves. Let's go. Oh, unbelievable.
So these are the final results for the goalkeeper gloves, and interestingly, just like the football boots, the newer they are, the better they seem to be. So, and I think it's definitely fair to say that football technology has improved over the years. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.